Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Token Podcast, or in this case, Podcast Interviews. I'm your host and sometimes referee, the friendly neighborhood, Zach Stat Pearson. And today, I'm joined by she whose muscle, much like her hair, knows no equal in beauty. A one, Brooke Diesel.
Hello. Thank you for having me here, Zach.
Not a problem, not a problem. All right, Miss Diesel, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. There's no little about myself, I guess. I've been all over the place, and I used to be a programmer for air conditioning for 13 years. I started powerlifting and set some world records, owned a couple gyms. Then I decided to move to Las Vegas and go a whole different career path.
Never a dull moment in your life. Keep
You
trying to
never
tell
know.
people.
I'm a grandma. I'm a grandma. My mom. I'm a grandma.
I've been
I
trying
just
to
bounce around doing all kinds of things.
Been trying to tell people the years they need to smell what you're cooking, but everybody's got their own
Mhm.
preferences. Their loss. All right. Well, with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and get into these questions. First off, thank you for honoring me with your presence. It is a lot harder than you would think to book a bodybuilder, let alone someone who's just nice and fun to talk to.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's not the whole, oh, they think if I'm not in their industry, there's no point. It's more of the, they don't
No.
remember to check their own messages even after they agreed to it. So around the sixth time that this happens to you, you kind of sort of lose hope.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to
You can't be
ask,
responsible.
yeah, I'm just going to ask you first off, what was the key moment that made you realize you wanted to be a bodybuilder? Take us back to that moment.
Okay. So I that decision came from I was a powerlifter for 12 years and it was a high level powerlifter. I was number one in the world for 6 years in
Yep, I remember
squat
that.
and total and a couple of weight classes. So so once I got to the end of that, I finally got to a place where I just couldn't keep doing what I was doing anymore. But I had been doing it and had been very involved with it for so long that I really didn't know what I was going to do anymore if I didn't compete. And so I decided to try bodybuilding. I've always been kind of like someone who I'll always go and try things that, like people, powerlifters make fun of bodybuilders and vice versa. So I was like, I'll just sort of go do everything.
Okay, that is true. I mean, yes, some of them are more friendly and jovial with it, and some people go at it like the Army and Marines. Speaking from experience, that actually got annoying after a while. Um,
Uh,
yeah. All right. Well, I was always interested in that. All right. So moving on. For the non-competitive people out there who are looking to gain a godly build, not necessarily one to one of yours, but similar to yours, what do you think are some
yeah.
mistakes that the new people are making and should look out for when it comes to this life?
Well, 100%. People are just trying to get it too fast. People are jumping on steroids too fast. They're doing crazy kinds of diets, trying to get weight off too fast. And a build like this just doesn't come that fast. It doesn't matter what you do; it's not going to come that fast. And anything that you do to try to shortcut it is only going to you're either going to hurt yourself, most likely anyway. But whatever you do get from that is you're going to lose in the second you stop. So people just need to calm down and commit to something and do it. I know, like you need to eat right. You need to, I'm not saying don't do steroids, of course. I'm saying you don't come out the gate doing, a ton of steroids. But so there's a way to come about it in a healthy and intelligent manner.
And if there's one person my audience should and will listen to, it's you because, well, who's got more experience? I've been trying to say stuff like that, but I don't know what it is. I guess it's chalk it up to the 30 and under crowd, but a lot of them seem to think if they
Mhm.
don't have visually in front of me at the time that I meet them the build that I'm looking for, why should I listen to them? I've been trying to beat this into
Yeah.
people's heads for so long because there was this assumption that once I got out of the military, I was going to maintain having to rebuy a whole new wardrobe because I couldn't fit nothing, which obviously I did not like doing, and that I wasn't going to go back down. But that's exactly what I was trying to do. And when people would ask me all the time, I would tell them, listen, you got to remember, I didn't just get buff in basic. Nobody gets buff in basic. It's going to take you some years. If you were buff in basic, you were that buff
Yeah.
before you got there. So
Yeah.
you need
Yeah.
to remember that you have to talk to medical professionals, people who've already done it, and as well as listen to your body. Because I got a friend
Yeah.
right now. Ironically, her name is also Brooke, and
Mm,
Microwave attention span, I swear. She is now suffering from a spinal hyperextension that did not need to happen.
mm,
And that one is, depending on who you ask, is a life ruiner because, first off, if you have a job where you have to physically show up, not no more.
mhm.
So,
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry that she didn't listen to me until it got too late, but, she if she did, technically she wouldn't meet her current boyfriend because she met him in physical therapy. So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, I feel bad for her, but at the same time, I mean, it feels like you
Yeah.
benefited though.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
unfortunately, there's a lot of coaches out there too that feel like people. There's the people that want to get there that super fast that are doing the wrong things, but there's also the people out there that want to be viewed as an accomplished coach and are telling people the wrong things too, trying to push them too fast to get there. So it's a little difficult nowadays, especially with the everything being so accessible online and
Mm-hmm.
just so much oppositional information out there. It's hard for people to navigate through. And you go talk to like and unfortunately, I think the good coaches cost more, and that's why they steer away from them.
Yeah, and I'm inclined to agree because, I think, well, you would know better than me, but I've also just seen it throughout my life. There have been times when medical professionals and also scientists have stated information is correct, but as we all know, science and information is evolving. So they thought they were right until we get to a point where we discover, oh no, this is slightly different, or this has to be completely thrown out via like BS
Hmm.
like eugenics and whatnot. But there are so many people who are older who just don't have the new information. That's why I keep trying to beat into people's head. Make sure you're talking to someone who knows what they're doing. Don't just go off of
Yeah.
what seems cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, you, as you mentioned, do travel to many places, and through your career of choice, and I'm sure you've seen many a city. Are there any particular places you love visiting, or a restaurant in a certain area that you like to always frequent?
Hmm.
Like, what's a good spot to visit that you recommend?
I have to think about the restaurant thing because when you first say that, something pops into my head, but I can't see the name. But I love going to let's see. I love going to Philly, and that's just West Philly, actually the West Philly area, but then South Philly too. But that's just because I always make good money there, and and that was where and so in the adult industry, that's where I started. That was the first thing I ever did was out there, and so I have friends
Philadelphia,
there, and
so that
I don't
must
know.
be West Philly Dungeon, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah.
actually like
So
they
that's
putting
the
Philly
place.
on the map because as far as I know, there is not even a
No, no.
person, let alone a website that is more famous from Philadelphia than them.
Oh my God, I know. I absolutely. I'm very proud of him. He's doing a great job. So yeah. Um, you know what? I really don't know, and the reason why is because to be honest, like, I don't usually go out of the house when I go to these places. I stay, I don't like travel around, and I really don't eat out a lot because I make my all my meals. I don't like to eat out,
Well, yeah,
but
you don't have much of a choice.
yeah. So to be honest, I don't do that a lot. But so but you know what? I'm always looking for good burger places. So I will ask around
Oh,
and I don't know, in Vegas here they have a place called Fat Burger or something that's pretty good.
yeah.
But I know my answer's too lame for this. I don't know anything.
No, no, no. There's no such thing as a layman. So the goal is to get
Well,
to
I'm
know
just
people.
kidding, but
So yeah, I mean, the goal is to get to know people. So it's never really a lame answer. But the main reason I ask is because, well, I don't really know how to advertise it. It seems like a complete fluke, or people don't believe me because my body's not big enough to accommodate a claim like this. But for some reason, through sheer fluke, I became like
Mhm,
top 10% of reviewers of restaurants on Google nationwide, like
mm,
internationally. I'm in the top 10%.
mhm.
And it was so funny how I learned this. So I kept getting spam mail from Google. Then I eventually saw the emails about, hey, you need to report to us if you're seeing certain things. We will never ask you directly for your money, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you're a transaction company. You will ask me directly for my money. I was like, hey, I
Right.
keep getting this one specific scam saying that I'm in the top 10% of restaurant reviewers and critics worldwide for Google. Can you please fix this? It was like, no, that's actually real. I was like, oh, shit.
Oh,
I
yeah.
accidentally threw out a lot of stuff. Can y'all resend me any of that? No, but your status is still maintained. Have a nice day. I was like, oh, whoops. So I actually do know quite a few good burger places. I have no problem giving you
No,
recommendations.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I guess a lot of people just didn't like the health food stuff because health has that reputation, which it shouldn't. That's offensive. That nothing's gonna taste good. But vegan
Yeah.
stuff, I'm not I'm omnivorous. I'll tell you straight up. But I don't lie. Vegan food, whatever they did about 10, 15 years ago, maybe we can blame the Scott Pilgrim movie. Vegan food is starting to get disturbingly good, and they're even getting
Um,
stuff that specifically looks like what you expect it to instead of looking like some random pile of goo. I had sloppy Joe, and I didn't find out till I got the bill. There was no meat in it.
wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, because it does. You're right. It scares me. I'm like, I'm not. I don't even want to smell that. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. But it also helps that well, my history in cinema of the video editing and front and behind camera variety, I'm very good at taking pictures of people's restaurants as not just people. So sometimes I'm thinking, oh, I probably just got this because 100,000 people like this one photo that I took spur of the moment because I was
uh,
enjoying a very good burger. I was like, no, they did
uh-huh.
it because it was just a chain reaction. There was so few restaurants functioning during the pandemic that when people
I
wanted to
see. I see.
find something, it was like that. But then when the pandemic ended, people still stayed on for my pictures and reviews. So I was like, you know what? Let me
Yeah.
keep this up.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Roll with that.
Yeah, and then but then when I tell my friends this, they won't even give me the 2 or 3 minutes I need to just show them on Google because like, but you're not big no more. It's like I don't eat every day at the restaurants. I would be dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know next time you're gonna be
It
here, and I
does.
know you would hate it, or at least you would hate the recovery from it. But I would love to take you out to Andy's at one point in time because Andy somehow became that American staple that is just quietly sitting in the Midwest that no one really remembers, but they
Hmm.
have never gone away. And no, they do not have healthy options. I'm gonna just come out and say it, but it always takes you
Okay.
back to like that first time you might have chased down and probably lifted a ice cream truck, but they actually have gourmet flavors, but they don't have a gourmet price, and I love it.
Oh
They don't.
wow.
Yeah, it's not just ooh here's sprinkles and peanuts on toppings. No, they're actually
Okay.
adults. Like, oh, you want this fruit? Well, we can give it to you in a juice format, or we can flavor the ice cream like it, so you never don't taste it. And then you know what? We can put
Hmm.
a special gourmet item dead center in this drink or this scoop. And I'm just like, how have I not been in here since I was a kid? I thought y'all menu didn't change, but no, they're one of the few I can honestly say gourmet sweet ice cream places, custard places that actually evolves their menu with their people. They're not like Sonics. They're not just giving you generic stuff and
Hmm.
overcharging. They actually put effort into it. But yeah, I would
Okay.
love to have you experience Andy's one day and get your opinion of it.
And where's Andy's? Is that in
It's
Vegas or something?
uh, I think there is one left in Vegas, but it's primarily in the Midwest. They do
Oh,
gourmet ice cream and custard, but they don't charge like an
um,
arm and a leg, and they still outsell most of the
right.
places.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but
We'll have to.
I definitely got an
We'll
archive
remember.
of places from when I was in Vegas, so I can definitely send you some recommendations when this is over for food.
Okay.
Very curious. All right, now, so I'm curious because you've been in many an industry, but there has to be there has to be at least one good comical moment or incident that happened. I don't care what genre of entertainment it is that has happened that you can state for us. Everybody has one, and even if you didn't, I would still ask. I ask everyone I interview: are there any funny moments or key moments that you thought were hilarious just from your past endeavors?
Um. So you're saying it's from any of the industries? Is that what you said?
Yes, as long as it's hilarious.
Oh, okay. So it's hilarious. Okay. Okay. I'll tell you this one. This one I tell everyone because this is I think it's kind of crazy. But anyway, so like I have people that will call me up and ask me to make certain types of videos for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll tell me what they wanted to, what they wanted to contain. And I had someone that contact me, and it's not always something, like I tell people, I'm very straightforward but polite, and maybe I'll say like, well, sorry, I don't do that, but this person contacted me. It's the only person that I've never responded to because I just didn't
Holy
even
shit,
know how I was
that
supposed to
has to be
respond.
epic.
So the person wanted me to be, he said, you're a bird, you're a muscular bird flying around in the jungle whistling, and you come upon a lion,
What the
and the
fuck?
lion takes a look at you and knows that he's fucked. And when he says it like that, he means that I'm going to beat the lion up, right?
Uh huh.
And I was just like, how in the motherfucking hell am I supposed to make that video? How am I supposed to be a bird? How am I? Where are you getting a lion from? How do I make it look like I'm in a
I,
jungle?
I
And what the
mean,
hell? I said,
bruh. I mean,
I
I
didn't even
mean,
get
you
to the
could
person. I
probably
was like, I
take.
don't even know what to say to this person.
I mean, you could probably take out a teenage lion at a minimum, but that is wow. I don't have. I'm actually speechless for that one. That is funny, but I don't have a response to that.
Right? I'm a muscular bird. I'm gonna have to put. I would have had to put like wings on and flex my muscles or something.
Oh my god. Well, I don't
So
know.
listen, and I don't like to say anything that everyone's got their thing, but that was I was just like, okay, I don't even understand. I don't get it. How I'm supposed to even do this? So I'm not talking to you.
Oh my god. That just the mental gymnastics to even have the audacity to say it is what gets me. Or I'm not gonna lie. As far as I know, with any of your customers, I've yet to hear anybody not give you a 5-star review.
Oh, they
I'm on the subscription side of things, so I don't really know how any of that works. I do know a couple that, well, not couple as in people who are in a relationship, couple as in a similar industry. Couple people who are trying to find you to work with you, but even then, they even told me, it's like, I hear she's really really nice and polite. I'm like, that's
oh
surprising
yeah.
because I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If you were a total like brick shit asshole, a part of me would still be like, yeah, well, I mean, she did earn it. She got the rewards. But it's nice to know that there are still some beating hearts in the industry. Um,
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I was gonna say that even the crazy ones, I the audacity to like say these things to me, right? To
mhm.
be honest, I actually appreciate it. They're telling me something they can't tell to just anybody, and I kind of actually appreciate that they feel comfortable enough to do that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, I try to be a good person.
yeah, and I respect it. And again, this is just coming from being a video editor to many a heinous
Right.
douchebag. I can tell you some horror stories, but mine aren't of the triple X variety. They're of the did that really just come out of your mouth variety? Um, because I know, well, she, I hate to say it, but some people don't even need to like grift their clients or their customers, and they will do it anyway. And I'm just like, well, I don't want to edit or work with or do anything with them. I'm not trying to contribute to the unnecessary grift because
Mhm.
there's this assumption
Yeah.
that it'll just be some scammer who has no concept of empathy. They just know they're pretty, so they're like, what can I milk from people while I'm still pretty? No,
Uh,
sometimes it's some of the most decorated people, the most successful, who are just complete and total dickbags the minute the camera goes off. So,
yeah.
hearing that, one of my favorites before she got into the industry just so happens to be a decent human being, that's just heartwarming for me. Um, Now, transitioning into, well, the industry, no pun intended, I am curious, when you went from all those other industries to this,
Uh-huh.
what exactly got you in or who got you in? Or were you just always
You know what?
curious?
Yeah, and I tried to think about it for a little bit at one time. I don't remember. I think I had done OnlyFans first, and
Mm-hmm.
OnlyFans I had started. It might have. I I don't. I think it was before COVID, but it might have. Yeah, but I think it was. It was. It had to be before COVID.
Okay.
But but in what I had seen, I had started actually seeing other bodybuilders, other women bodybuilders doing it, and they were talking about showing their training and stuff like that. And so that's what I was doing. And I was like, oh, look at this! People are gonna come pay to watch me train. And it did. I did understand very quickly that that was not, whatever the only thing people were doing.
I
And
understand.
but then it was, so like I wasn't making a ton of money, but it was kind of quick money, and so that was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a place in life where I was trying to like I had already done a couple things. I was in a place in life where I was trying to kind of like go out and do things that were, maybe not typical, maybe not standard, but I give a fuck if I wanted to do it or try it. I was just going to do it. I didn't care. I would tell people about it. I don't hide anything I do
I mean, who's
because
going
I
to
wanted
stop
to
you?
be a person who was like unapologetically, like honest, and that's just what what I wanted to be. So I had decided to start pushing the OF a little more, and actually, once I did that though, the way some people talk to you or whatever, I actually quit for a little while. I was like, yeah, no one gets to talk to me like that, so I stopped, and I had to have a little talk with myself, and then just realize that how people were, how people are see what how what they're coming to ask for, how that people see you and as a person and as a performer, blah blah blah. and I started up again. I have my own, but I have my own borders, so because I'll tell a person to bounce. Your money is not the only thing that I care about. So from that point, actually, I mean, like it actually started. A friend of mine had mentioned, "Oh, why don't we try doing a porn movie?" And I was like, "That's actually, I was thinking about that." She's like, "Yeah, we should try." And I looked something up online, found someone to contact, and I got my first, what do you call it, response, and it was
Hmm.
West Philly Dungeon. And I told her, I'm like, do this, blah blah blah, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't think I want to do it." But again, I was like that person. I was like, "No, I'm doing it." So I went through and I did it, and I found. So first of all, he was incredibly easy to work with. He is such a great guy. We are friends, like to this day. And going through the whole fit process, I found that I kind of like being watched. The thought of people watching this and enjoying it was made me feel good, or not like sexually aroused, but like me, I
Oh,
liked
I
it.
understand. Yeah,
So
entertainers say the same
so my
thing.
point so my point is just that, I got into it on kind of by accident, and I just like took a step, and it led to something else. And I really, really think that it's a shame that too many people aren't willing to try something just because they think, they're worried what their neighbor's going to say if they find out, because you may never come across the thing that you thought was the most fun in your entire life if you don't actually try to do something else that made you uncomfortable.
That is true. It's well, I mean, the old adage some applies in most cases. Don't knock it till you try it. Of course, there are some exceptions with that, like pineapple on pizza. You're never gonna make me try that. I'm from Chicago. We stab people for that.
Yes, that's true.
But well, hey, I'm happy you have a more peaceful story because just as the guy in the room or doing the editing, let me tell you, I have heard some genuine horror stories. But I guess
Yeah.
not that I was ever on the side of those automatically demonizing people, but I understand why a lot of people don't even like to ask that question when they get into this industry because
Yeah.
let's just say a lot of answers aren't as noble as yours, and I am just eternally grateful that it went extremely pleasant for you.
Oh, thank you. I think part of it's a little. I'm much older. I didn't start until I was what, like 45 or something.
Yeah,
Probably a little bit older than that. And so I'm like a grown ass woman doing what she wants to do, not somebody who's just I don't know, desperate or something. I don't know,
yeah,
or broken or whatever.
yeah, and again, I'm so happy about that because don't get me wrong. I mean, once a lot of bodybuilders go out of the spotlight, I'm not gonna lie. I wonder where they are sometimes, and not just in the middle of the night when I
Yeah.
have lotion. I mean, in general, sometimes you just want to know.
Yeah.
So when I found
Sure.
out, you popped back up, I was like, oh, I don't remember her having this many tattoos, but yeah, that's definitely her. I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm
Uh-huh.
sincerely happy because, well, I won't tell you
Thank
right now, but some of them stories I've seen them make grown men cry. Um,
you. Yeah.
yeah,
It really is sad.
yeah.
But
So moving on. When it comes to usage of artificial images, artificial intelligence in particular, to put some your body or your face in scenes you never filmed, do you see that as problematic? Do you think we need to update the
yeah.
laws, or are you completely indifferent to it?
You know what? Okay, so I said yes. My very first reaction is I don't like the AI stuff. No, I don't think that's good to do that. No, put the A or the like put my face on someone else's body. But I guess I would assume that if everyone's doing the proper thing, everybody's signing what? Signing a different, and you've got different payments. Like the person who used their face, you get them
Yeah,
200, and the one that used the
royalties.
body, you get three, some shit like that. Um, so I guess in that, in that regard, um, I can understand what you're saying, and like what, basically everything evolves, and you either have to make changes to stay up with it, or you're going to get left behind, right? So I do understand moving forward, but I think the AI is going to become an increasing problem, and I really don't think I just wish that I could, stop people from feeding it, because at some point, I mean, God help us, right? Like, if it ever, whatever, if it ever got pulled away because someone somewhere said, "Wait, this is getting too crazy. We're taking AI out," then what the heck are they going to leave everybody that was using it? But anyway, but I think that one of the problems is going to be is that how am I supposed to compete, with somebody, that you're taking the most perfect parts off of all these people, putting them together, and then putting them out there in the films, and how is a real person who doesn't get that, doesn't have the ability to do that, supposed to compete with it?
Yeah,
But I can tell you, I know with like OnlyFans, dudes under, I guess the AI looks so real, but still, the dudes are getting, the dudes are not all, they're not stupid. and they're starting to realize everybody's with an agency and they're not chatting with the woman they think they're chatting with. And so I think that there is still some hope, attached to the benefit of being that real person. That is an honest to God real person.
Yeah, and that's a very nuanced answer. I can honestly say I didn't know how you would react, but I definitely like your answer. I believe for me, the biggest issue I have is first and foremost, let's be honest, everyone knows, and it's not just related to X related industries, the entertainment industry as a whole.
Yeah,
Whoever's at the top is almost 99% never artistic. They don't care about the medium, they care about the money. So, cheating
yeah,
celebrities, voice actors, even, adult performers or regular models, they always have someone at the top who's trying to nickel and dime and cheat them, and they don't want protections, aka a union. But when it comes to the
hmm,
AI stuff, now you got an even bigger problem because now
yeah,
someone can go and just have an AI for themselves or pay it like a 10, 15 buck a month subscription and they can literally feed it you and then just do what they want to do and then just go, well, why
yeah,
should I even go back to this? And it does
right,
terrify me because people are thinking, oh, well, why do I care about that industry? It shouldn't even exist. Well, first off, you can't say it shouldn't exist. There's a difference between not liking something and saying it shouldn't exist. But also, why are you acting like that's where it's going to stop? If that's where it
right,
starts, the world's your oyster.
yeah,
And I do feel like I haven't read it all because, man, they had a long talk about it. It was hours long. I can't remember all that. The EU is reacting faster, ironically, than the country that started this problem. Because don't get me wrong,
yeah,
we did not invent artificial intelligence. But
no,
specifically, the stuff that's affecting the entertainment industry, generative AI, yeah, we started it almost 5 times over. We had 4 or 5 different individuals get hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in information, and they used it to create this problem. And one person who I was actually going to interview, but well, they decided to assassinate him. Um,
mhm,
the original whistleblower, he magically
mhm,
died from overdosing on drugs that he's never taken in his life and had 2 bullets in his head, dead center. Nah, 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 nah. That's not how
yeah,
somebody who just ordered DoorDash and went back into their room and is dead three
yeah,
minutes later plans a suicide. No, no, he died because a lot of people with money don't want this to stop. So I know for a fact
right,
we can't fight it. I wasn't even having him come on to like snitch. He was already going to tell the federal government. I had him coming on because I needed to understand what the dangers are to the environment because that was the first thing that people
oh
were
yeah,
discussing. And then what I
yeah,
learned, it is terrifying. It's it's destroying water in such a way that we can't refine it back to being clean. That is dangerous in and of itself.
yes, of course, yes it is.
So
Yeah,
I just want, I just hope, at least I can't say I'm going to get money, but I hope that residuals or at least the rest of the government catches up with the European Union in trying to combat it because it's not like it doesn't
yeah,
need to exist. AI already exists. It's been there since before we were born. It's the types that we have access to on the commercial level
yeah,
that are a problem.
yeah. And it's not just that though. It's like I mean they're taking over like lower income type jobs that were the people that, at least we had somebody that didn't go to high school, at least he could work at McDonald's, and now McDonald's is using, robots, and I guess that's not really AI, but well
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, it is.
Oh no, they are. It's
So
just the AI is in the
yeah, yeah.
robot.
Yeah. So I mean, AI is, I think, a huge problem in just about every coming from every direction. And you know what? To be honest, I'm not a super political person, and I don't want to get I don't want to get into
There's
a debate because
nothing
I
you can or
it
can't say on here. If you want to get into it, you
oh
can.
no,
I'm
it's
not.
not that. I'm saying that like no, it's not that I don't mind what I say. It's just that I don't know. I just do politics. But I do think that and I'm a computer person. I was a computer programmer for 13 years.
Yeah, you have a better
I
opinion than
love
most people.
computers. Well, I'm just saying I love computers, and I think that we love being able to create something new, and we're proud of ourselves, and we're like, this is cool, and look at this cool thing I made. And it is, unfortunately, sometimes it's to the detriment, of I was not the whole population usually, but you know what, it's usually sometimes it shouldn't have existed just because it was cool that we could make it. You know what I mean?
No, I totally
And
understand.
yeah. And so I and it's hard because I really don't want to think about it because it's Unfortunately, with I really don't have much of a belief in, and I have a say in politics. Like my vote counts for shit. It's all. I'm not saying it's fixed. I'm just saying I just not sure I really believe that. And so I tried to just kind of ignore this stuff and move along. But everything happens. It starts to happen faster, and that's the I forget what the law is, but that's a law in computers. That it multiplies every so many years.
Moore's law, if memory serves.
Yes, yes. And so everything's starting to move faster. And like if we think about all that we do right now and we think about what's in the future, of course we've been watching on TV what's coming up, but hover cars or whatever, I don't freaking know. But I just it's a scary thing, and then I don't want to think about it, but then I've got kids and I got a grandson, and I'm like, well, then you got to worry about the people you're leaving behind that are going to have to deal with it. I don't know, it's a mess, but I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of the same way. I'm terrified, mind you. I don't have a lineage to worry about, or at least not yet. But even I know just by talking to some of my younger nieces and nephews and younger cousins and whatnot, like it's a legitimate problem because it's one thing if you're bullied in school, which has happened to people. You're bullied in school and you want to fuck up your bully, but no one wants to do anything about it, which is the worst feeling for a child because you got to remember,
Yeah.
we're adults. We can walk away, we can call the cops. You're a child and you got to be with this person who's your bully all day long, every single day. I get that you feel some type of way. But now we got shit where you can go and take your bully's face and ruin his life, copy his voice, ruin his online perception, and he may not even know it's you. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He obviously had it coming, but you
Right.
also
But
realize since
yeah,
you got the anonymity, you don't have to stop. You could bully him 10 or 20
yeah,
years down the line just because you had a bad day.
yeah.
And
No, yeah, that's definitely not cool. You can It doesn't make it, and there's no excuse for it. It doesn't matter what they're doing to you, it's
yeah, it's a two wrongs
yeah,
don't make a
no, no,
right situation.
no, absolutely not.
And to just think if that had started in my generation, because I was going in grade school in the 90s, um, the worst that we could do to each other was when the teacher wasn't looking, you throw something, you hit them with something, or you shit talk them at
Throw a
lunch.
spitball.
Yeah, yeah, or you shit talk them at lunch, and if they cried or they
Yeah,
broke, then they now are a piece of shit, and they're gonna leave you alone, but they're gonna harbor that resentment. But that was where it
yeah,
ended, right?
right,
Now it
exactly.
doesn't have to, and that's what bothers me. The fact that I know that we can't get rid of it per se. I'm not even saying it should be gone. My problem is
Yeah,
there's not proper regulation. Jurassic Park, the
no,
first one.
absolutely.
One of Jeff Goldblum's one of the most favorite lines I've ever remember Jeff Goldblum saying. I don't know if it was spontaneous or if it was in the script. He said something like, "You're so busy looking at what you can do, you didn't stop to think should you do it," and it's still
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
It's still true.
That's exactly what I meant to earlier. That's a great quote. Yep.
Yeah.
You know what? And it's also it's kids getting younger and younger having access to that stuff too. So you're talking about regulations. I would imagine. I mean, and then they like just barely started being able to make regulations on online stuff to begin with.
Yeah, they
They're
barely
never gonna
started.
catch up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the worst part is, it's like the only reason we know how far we are behind, ironically, is because of every single non-USA country being like, "Hey, we need to look into this." They're not even saying let's restrict it and get rid of it and pretend it doesn't exist. They're just saying, "No, we need to figure this shit out." That's why I think
yeah,
currently, people are insulting them and making fun of them, but Visa kind of sort of has the best approach. The problem is too many people are lying. I won't get into the long version because it is long.
yeah,
But Visa
yeah.
has a rule, and I know this just as someone, like I said, I've helped people with their physical distribution and whatnot. I wasn't made for this industry or anything, but there's a lot of rollover when it comes to publishing and distribution. So, pandemic hit. If you want to make some extra money in video editing, photography, the first place you go is Triple X's. I'm not even going to hide it. I technically didn't do anything
Uh-huh.
that was illegal, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I should feel bad about it. But um, one of the first things you learn is that transaction fees aren't necessarily determined by who you're buying something from. It's determined
Uh-huh.
by card owners like Visa and MasterCard. But there are certain
Yes.
things that are extremely, extremely high risk. And there's really
Yeah.
two things: things that can easily be weaponized, like, uranium, plutonium, stuff like that, and porn. But here's
Absolutely.
why: because depending on the type of porn, and no, I don't mean kiddie porn, I mean the legal stuff, even if it's legal in one
Right.
country, it won't be legal in the next
Uh-huh.
one. But a lot of
Yes.
distributors and
Exactly.
sellers don't want to give a shit. So what they'll do
Right.
is they'll disguise, or they will have an item that partially features something pornographic, single X, double X, triple, whatever, but it will be
Right.
inside of an entire archive, so they can actually
Uh-huh.
skip that extended transaction fee. But here's the problem: Visa finally realized that this was happening. So because Visa
Mhm.
realized that, it was like, oh, y'all are trying to skip out on paying us a higher transaction fee because all porn has a higher transaction fee when it comes to Visa. And they were,
MasterCard too, but yeah,
yeah,
Visa's the asshole.
yeah, but then out of nowhere, because Australia has been Australia for decades and it'll be that way long after we're dead, because Australia started whining and complaining, people think that they had something to do with it. Like, no, it's just what you would call a
Um,
perfect storm. The problem was
yeah.
stuff like Steam, which don't worry, I know people don't really get into it, but when it comes to the gaming industry, smut is not always properly advertised, especially when they only put it in a small little box on the back of a package. If you bought the CD by itself and it came used, you don't know this. So you can't really blame a parent. But also, they were supposed to be paying different transactional fees in general, and they were never
Mhm.
doing that from their inception. And Steam is $1 billion archiver and digital sale infrastructure. They do make some of
Yeah.
their own games, but they sell thousands of other people's games. So if I'm playing a game and I'm like 10 or 12 years old, I'm Little Mickey. Little Mickey buys a game that
Mhm.
does not advertise that, even though it's about giant robots in space, which is cool, that, oh, depending on what you do in this game, you can magically see somebody pole dance or some shit like that, which that has happened in one
Mhm.
cases. They technically
Okay.
ducked the triple X transaction fee that people like you have to pay and pay fairly.
Yeah.
Visa learned about this, and that's what caused that chain reaction
Mhm.
because this had been going on for decades. So
Gotcha.
the main reason Visa's mad because they technically got skimmed close to, if not like hundreds of millions of dollars. I would be mad
Right.
too.
Sure. Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
then
just, and that's why, most in most cases, there's something valid on each side.
yeah,
And so people want to complain about Visa's things, but then they're going to turn around and do the stuff that caused Visa to do it. But but that's okay. It's just
yeah,
people suck.
exactly. Yeah, and then and the fact that Visa, and mind you, it was hilarious how PG-13 it was. Visa had to come out and make a statement saying, "Bitch, we are not trying to stop you from looking at titties, okay? We're not trying to stop you from looking at dick. Stop saying we did shit that we didn't even fucking say that we did. We said what our problem
Uh-huh.
was. They were not paying proper transaction fees. That was what they
Right.
said. But somehow,
Yeah.
because the internet exists, and Australia,
Yes,
oh,
exactly.
they don't want us to look at porn. It's like, I promise you, you can take my well, not physical because almost none of your stuff is physical. They can take my subscriptions relating to you from my cold dead fucking hands, and they can die trying. Somebody gonna get in that coffin. It ain't gonna be me. And I know they don't
Yeah.
care because I knew it was BS, and that would be even if I didn't like work
Yeah.
around the industry. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Right.
it's crazy that and it happened so fast. It only took 4 days for half the planet to believe Visa wants to stop you from looking at porn.
Well, they probably already had a statement ready and waiting, and to begin ready and waiting against Visa from the beginning,
Yeah,
because that's how people push their agenda right now, is by screaming about how they are being
censored
what
and
do you call
muffled and
it?
all that shit.
Yes, exactly, and everybody does it, and so it's probably something that they had planned. There was probably that statement was probably written before they even started.
I totally believe it. I'm technically in the more PG-13 line of work. I'm over in business development for entertainment and entertainment outsourcing. And one of the first
Uh-huh.
things you learn is that, first and foremost, I hate to say it, but promotion and marketing have too much power in businesses. They do none of the work,
Yeah.
but then they get to force people's work schedule. They get to force them to make things that don't even need to be there. It doesn't matter what industry it is, with the exception of porn. And promotions and
Uh-huh.
marketing have the ear of the CEOs on average. Imagine you technically got one boss, but this one guy who's in a department does not know how your job works in the slightest, can go over to you as if he's your boss, doesn't have the same
Mhm.
authority, tell you what you're going to do outside of what you've already done, and he's just allowed to do it. I have so many mixed feelings about promotion and marketing. On paper, it sounds like a good idea, but in the entertainment world,
Yeah.
they are some of the pushiest blowhards around, I
Uh,
swear.
you know what I think too is, though, I mean, I was talking about technology earlier, but
Mm-hmm.
even like say in marketing, right? So like come up with some kind of really cool campaign that goes viral and makes everybody want to buy a product. That's got to be something. very like something that a person would be proud of too, like a creative and intelligent person is able to do these things and make these awesome, ads or marketing whatever. And that's got to be a cool thing too. And then in CEOs, I mean, we live in America, right? So that's the thing here, right? You have the right to go and make as much money as possible. So it's like at the very, very top looking down, everybody is just doing what they have the right to do it, and it doesn't seem like a bad thing, except that if you start coming down and looking at the pieces, everybody now, it seems like more and more, it's not like it never existed, but more and more people just don't have any morals to what they're doing.
Yeah,
And so
I totally agree, and that's the main
they
reason
get to the
why.
same place, but they treat everyone like shit getting there.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I've always prided my channel and any entertainment I do on, first off, human decency. I don't care. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, this hasn't happened yet, but I don't care if you showed up to drink some piss. I'm still going to try to treat you as decent of a human being as I can because, first off,
absolutely.
if the house is already on fire, why would I throw gasoline into it? That's just how I
Yeah,
naturally live my life. I'm not trying to make your situation worse. So I think
right.
that's why I've been able to get some of the more epic reviews, or I have a steady group of friends who like being on my channel. They know I'm not a dictator. If they have an idea, I'm going to help them. It doesn't matter what it is. I could not, hear from you for the next 3 years, but if you tell me, hey, I'm stuck over here in your state, or hey, I need a backup cameraman, blah blah blah, I'm still in the bare minimum going to try to help you out or see who I know in the area. I don't need to
Yeah,
benefit from it. But the problem is,
right.
it's the upbringing. Like money is part of it, yes, but it's the upbringing that makes you think once you get to a certain level of money, I get to be a terrible human being and sociopath. That's not how that works. But it is so
I agree.
fundamentally a visible in America. It's sad. Now,
Yeah.
again, it's not an industry you mess with, but again, since I work for a little bit of everybody, Microsoft,
Uh-huh.
like king of all kings of PCs, and
Yeah.
in the gaming sector, they one person created, and I do mean one person created the
Uh-huh.
largest layoff in the history of the entire industry in the entire world in 1 year. He literally laid off more people than in 1 year than have ever been laid off in the entirety of the industry. And he had the audacity to write an AI statement basically trying to say, hey, it's not my fault. Uh, bitch,
Um,
you the only person responsible.
mm.
Yeah, a guy by the name of Phil Spencer.
I have a story along that lines. That's have AI, but I worked at Carrier. So are you familiar with Carrier air conditioning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I worked for them, right? And by the time I got hired there, they were like huge. They were like a little city, their compound in the within, like this fencing, right? And before I got there, they had gone through and done their first like huge layoff. And it was a really hard thing for the city, for Carrier. They were laying off people that just were like just a little bit, away from retirement, because then they were replacing them with people that were going to work for less, shit like that.
Oh yeah.
So by the time I got there, it had maybe be cut in half, but there was still a lot of people. But those layoffs continued. I worked for them for 13 years, and those layoffs continued and continued. And um, it got to a point, I had eventually gone to part time because I had a gym at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there all day. So I was at the Carrier all day. I'd go to the gym all night. I was too much. So I had gone down to part time. And so one day my boss calls me and he's like, we gotta go to HR. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong? And he's like, just come with me, basically they were gonna lay me off, right? So she's like acting very nervous, and she's like, I can't remember what she said. She was acting nervous. And I said, listen, did I do something wrong? And she goes, no, that's not what it is. This is just a restructure, blah, 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 whatever. And I said, okay, it's cool. Go ahead. Just say what you got to say. Right. And then she tells me I'm laid off. And then my boss, then at this point, because Carrier was like really, I mean, they like, people were upset. And so to the point of like needing security after having told someone they're going to lay them off, so then my boss walks me back to my desk. I'm only allowed to take my purse, and I have to leave everything else behind, and they'll pack it up and mail it to me. He has to walk me to my car, get my bag, blah, 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 all that. So I'm out. Then a couple of days later, my boss calls me because I was the only person that really did my job. Because what they were doing is they were laying everybody off, and they'd make two people do one and a half things now to cover for that person they laid off, that kind of thing. So um so my boss called me, asked me a question about my job, and I answer him, and I asked him, I was like, so how's everything going? And he said that Carrier, so she had to go through all those layoffs. She went and did all those layoffs, and she'd been the HR person there for a few years at that point. And then 2 days later, they had flown somebody else in and laid her off.
Disgusting.
Yeah. And that's why for like my retirement that I had with them, I put all my stocks in Carrier because I was like, those people are going to do whatever they have to do to make a profit.
Yeah, and that's and stuff like that. I hate to say it, but I feel like the truly good and noble CEOs, business owners, that only happens from prior heartbreak or because you saw it happen firsthand and don't want it to happen to anybody
Mhm.
else. I won't give you the long version,
Yeah.
but people don't remember it. But a long time ago, before there was Greyhound and the internet,
Uh-huh.
there was a company called Trailways, and it was
Okay.
hard as shit to get that job because you had to literally memorize where to go, and if you didn't, you just got like 40, 50 people on a bus lost. My dad was
Uh,
one of their best employees, but see, he had a secret. It wasn't much of a secret at the time. He had previously been a professional tour bus shuttle driver for years before he went to Trailways. So he had some of the nation already in his head. So it
yeah.
was like smooth sailing. Then Trailways
Right.
gets absorbed and bought by Greyhound. Greyhound keeps my dad, honors his retirement, all that jazz. My dad's retirement plan was going to be something close to like 2 million.
Yeah.
They tried to get the manager to catch him fucking up and secretly put someone on
Yeah.
the bus whose job it was to catch him doing the wrong thing so they could fire him
Uh,
just so they could not pay his retirement.
yeah.
The manager respected my dad so much he told them what they were trying to do, and he just said,
Uh-huh.
what do you want to do? He said, okay, I'm gonna put in for early retirement even though it's not really early, because see, they weren't counting the
Yeah.
years based on Greyhound. They were counting the years of
Yeah.
Trailways plus Greyhound because they absorbed him, right?
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And
and that was fucking disgusting. They gave him a plaque
yeah.
5 years earlier for being one of the best drivers in the company. 30 years of safe
Yeah.
service, never had an accident, nothing. And then they do this to him the minute they get new management. That's not
Yeah.
raised in people. You have to just be in love with money to the
No.
point where you're disgusting.
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna say. It's all for
Yeah,
money too. There's no,
I'm
there's no other motive with something like that.
Yeah, because you don't even you make enough money to where you don't even have to work, but you will go to work for 10 or 15 years, ruin other people's lives because the only high you can get is from getting a bonus or a raise. Like, okay, have you tried just doing other things in life? Maybe go play guitar. What if you're the guy or woman who's gonna fucking cure cancer, or you find out your life passion is bodybuilding? Nope, I just want to sit behind this desk, do the least amount of work on record in the industry. The CEOs do the least amount of work on record and make the most amount of money and fuck everybody else over because you need to chase a high.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. All right. So with that tangent being over, I was always gonna want to know this myself. This I'm gonna let you know right now.
Okay.
Number 9 specifically came from
Uh-huh.
me with no other person's input. What's your go-to
Okay.
guilty pleasure food, sexuality, entertainment? Let us know. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay. So food would be bacon cheeseburger. Sexuality.
Oh my God, I love you so
What?
much.
What?
No, I'm just saying I love you so
Okay.
much. I
So,
thought it was gonna be
oh,
something like super intricate and complex. You are such an American.
oh God, no. Oh, thank you. Yeah. No, I'm pretty. Yeah. I don't like complicated stuff. um. So what's sexuality? Oh, sexuality. Yeah. I mean, my regular go-to is guys, of course. So what was the next one? Food,
What's your
sexuality.
favorite form of entertainment and entertainment? How do
Oh,
you like to be
form.
played? What do you do on those days when you're just enjoying yourself?
Right. You know what? I'm like, listen, I'm a workaholic. Okay. Like, I've been through like so many phases of life. It's insane, right? Like, I mean, I just don't even know what to tell you. I mean, like, I was a Girl Scout when I was younger. And then a few years later, I was a juvenile delinquent that spent 3 years in lockups. And then, a little bit later, I became, a mom. And then a little bit later. So I've like literally raised a family and made meatloaf and had leftover nights. And we would sit and watch TV back when there wasn't the streaming shit, when you had just this is on every Thursday at 8. Let's
Yeah,
all
you
get
had to
together
put
to watch
effort
it.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
kind of
I
miss
mean,
those
really,
days.
to be honest, I'm not like, I don't know what to tell you and I don't know why, but I just work. I work all the time. Now, there are times when I like to like stop. And when I say work, I mean, there's always something to do. I own a powerlifting federation still. There's always I have t-shirts I make, there's always something for me to do, questions to answer, something. I like to be at my desk, at my computer, answering questions, editing videos, and I like to have a TV show on that I like, How I Met Your Mother and Big Bang Theory. And I run those just over and over because I can hear them and they're funny and I don't have to look at it to know what's going on. And that's what I do, that like literally all day long. It's just I like it. I do.
Oh,
I
well,
do
I
like
mean,
to go
as I've
out. Like
always said,
if I were
there's
going to
no
leave the
wrong
house,
answers.
if I were
Okay.
I know. But people always, I don't think people would be like, what's wrong with her? If I do leave the house, I like to go hiking, but unfortunately I have to be careful because I have some like really bad knees now. But like I'll go out to Red Rock here in Vegas. And I
Hmm.
used to have my motorcycle got stolen. I used to ride my motorcycle a lot too. But most of the
I'm
time I
sorry,
just
did you
work.
say
I
you
just
have a
sit.
motorcycle?
I did. It got stolen.
Oh,
Well, I wrote it.
damn it.
So I wrote it down here, but from New York. But and then after like
Uh huh.
I had it down here in Vegas for about a year, and someone stole it. It was very sad. I was like literally, I felt like I lost a boyfriend. I sat in my house and cried, and it was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the motorcycle picture, I thought it was just like promo because I'm not gonna lie,
Oh,
I have weaknesses just like any other man. When I see a girl on a motorcycle, my heart skips a beat. I'm not gonna lie, but you actually wrote it. I'm really sad now. That sounds like, oh, obviously lost revenue, but no, that just sounds like losing a piece of yourself,
oh no, definitely, yeah. And I mean,
man.
like, not even that, yeah, not even that kind of thing. I had the one I that got stolen. I'd had for 12 years. I had another one for a while before that, and that one, I mean, that one's been through everything. I used to ride with some clubs up in New York. I mean, I rode all over the place. I rode through the when I rode it from Syracuse down to Vegas. That was crazy
Mm-hmm.
ass days, man. And the first night I couldn't find a hotel. I slept outside. The second day there was like a tornado. I rode through a tornado warning. The third day was like this really crazy thunderstorm. And then the next day I've like never encountered crosswinds before and like had to ride down the highway feeling like someone kept trying to kick my bike out underneath me. But and it also felt like because so up in New York I have I call it's called the moving wind is what I call it. So like you can stand there and it feels warm, but when the bike starts moving, it gets chilly. But down here the temperature of the air doesn't change that much. So once I got down here, I mean the air, it just felt like Satan was blowing air right directly into my freaking throat. It was crazy.
Yeah, dry heat
But
is not something I'm necessarily used to.
yeah,
Oh
I
man.
love it down here. I hate
I
the humidity, and that's one of the reasons why I left Syracuse. I could not do the cold or the humidity anymore. But yeah, so I rode that bike
yeah.
everywhere. I slept on the beach in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
I slept one night. I slept underneath a waterfall. I had a I had a freaking
You
dude from Hell's Angels on my back, like, and his voice stopped him because you don't ride bitch, those people don't ride bitch, right? But he was like, okay, let's go. And I was gonna freaking take off with him, but so very very cool times with my bike.
uh,
I got hit on it actually. I went down
well,
and
oh shit.
when it went down, huh? What?
No, I was just
So when it
I didn't know you got hit on it.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Some woman ran into me. She was pulling back over, and she hit me. And so, so anyway, I went down with it. And my son was on the back. He got thrown off, and um, and so the insurance paid for a paint job because it chipped the paint. And so when I had it redone, I did not have the Harley name put back on it because I didn't like how
Mm-hmm.
they're very clicky people, and I don't like it when you come up and you're not going to say it's a nice bike until you look over to see if it's a Harley or not. I don't like that shit. So yeah, I didn't have the Harley name put
Yeah,
back on, and
it's
I was painted a color that was all the one I picked out. And
yeah. If there was
so me and
ever
that bike is
someone
stuff.
who could publish a memoir, I would love to read yours if you ever get into that.
Oh, dude, listen, so what I did
Yeah.
is like, because I've been through shit with the powerlifting, and as I was coming up, it was funny like how even some of
Mm-hmm.
my friends kind of like I don't know how people started treating you differently and I'm not going to call anybody else, but it was just when you start getting treated differently because you're like I don't know, rising up and whatever you want to call it, whether it be it's not power, but
They're just insecure. Just call them what they
popularity,
are. They're
whatever,
insecure.
and
Hmm.
so it kind of like pissed me off. But so anyway, so it did spur me to say that I was going to write a book. It's called "Who the Fuck Does Rita West Think She Is Anyway?" And what it basically is just like stories. Yeah. And I started it. So it's just basically
That
stories. I like in my head, it's like it's just stories like if as if I was sitting on a porch telling kids in the yard stories about back in the day, and they're not specifically in order. They're just, like whatever funny or sad or whatever thing happened, and I just write it down and go on to the next
I
one.
get you.
And so, yep, that's what and I was gonna put that out. Because I have been through quite a bit. I have stories.
I mean, I'm still good friends with two different general managers of some of the more popular recording studios in my state and in the country. So, I mean,
Uh-huh.
if you ever get it published and you want to do a audio version adaptation of it, feel free to give me that contract. You can come down here and we can put you in the studio, or I can pay an actor to read it because I would definitely love to get a hold of that book. I am
Thank
not
you.
joking. And I can tell you the studio name too. It would be at Gravity Studios. Red Hot Chili Peppers used to come through there. They even left some artwork
Huh?
for the owner of it too because they liked him so much.
Oh, cool.
Oh man,
Uh,
yeah. Well, uh, I can honestly say I did not know what the answer might be to that question, but as per usual and expected of you, you do not disappoint. So yeah, you may be a workaholic, but some people just they don't understand. It's okay to relax sometimes, but I understand because like I thought and
Yeah.
like I knew, you do a lot. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so moving forward, it is still very uncommon for any form of fashion brands and designers to sell feminine clothing for females who prefer muscles
Mm,
as voluptuous as yours.
yeah.
I'm curious if you think the
Right.
lack of feminine bodybuilder clothing, such as skirts and dresses, is due to the small amount of potential customers, or just because there's no one in fashion industry that's tried to see how big of a market they can build.
It's I have to believe it's that because in my head I cannot fathom that there is not a need for something like that specifically for bodybuilding women. You know what I mean? There and when I say
Yeah,
bodybuilding, I don't even mean competitive. Like there's plenty of women out there. And I listen. I understand that like when especially when you're looking and you're talking about your friends on Facebook or whatever, that's not a true that's not the accurate representation of the population. I realize that the biggest part of the population doesn't do that, right? But the but the ones that do there is a big enough, I think, population, and it has gotten bigger over time, and it is extremely difficult. Like so, it's I get so I don't even go shopping. It stresses me out to go shopping, and I don't want to try shit on. And I swear to God, once I got stuck in something, I almost ripped it off me. Oh my God, it's terrible, terrible, terrible. And
that's
so,
not the first time I've heard that.
yeah, I was I heard a woman and her daughter in the room next to me, like the changing room next to me. I almost went out and knocked on their door to ask me to please help me, And yeah, so it's got to be that no one's wanting to try it. Maybe they think, oh, there's just not enough people that need it yet, realistically. But I can't believe someone hasn't because even if you had like a small, what do you call it? Uh, demand, like a smaller
Boutique.
population of demanding
Yeah.
it, you, you would still, those people would still keep coming back to you. You know what I mean? So I don't understand why someone hasn't started something because it's insanely needed, insanely needed.
Yeah,
I used to
a
wear
friend of
men's
mine,
jeans all the time.
she's in a similar. I've heard that one a lot too. A friend of mine who, obviously has a similar build to yours, but she's taller, so it's almost 10 times worse. She told me she
Yeah,
thinks the problem might be that everyone assumes that women of your voluptuous stature just want to be in workout type clothing. So there's plenty of stuff for the ladies that are working out as if they're going directly to the gym. But the minute it's supposed to
right.
be a casual or formal dress, they immediately act like y'all don't exist. So she thinks the problem is people think the market is only in gym related clothing.
I understand that, and I understand that it's true. That I understand that people look at muscular women and think something like that. They think that they think. I have had people say something to me about like, "Oh, you like the color pink," and I'm like, "What's fucking wrong with you?" Of course, I like pink. I can like pink if I want. So I understand that exists. So I understand that exists,
Yeah, and
but
you're
there's plenty of high level bodybuilding women. Why didn't one of them go start it? You know what I mean? So, I mean, I personally don't have
yeah,
quite that much money to go ahead and invest in and risk losing, but I am very surprised that there isn't somebody, and it's not like a regular person, because these bodybuilding women also have friends and that are not bodybuilders. We're like, there's like one of us in each city or something. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
so while she's correct, I think that assumption is out there. I still don't think that's the problem causing people not starting with something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I've been a little curious about that, but obviously from a different perspective. I'm a man. I have weaknesses just like every other man. I do not deny these weaknesses. Sometimes just a nice skirt or a skirt with that one slit where a leg peeks out when the wind blows, that's
Yeah.
all I need. And I don't think that because,
And our
she can
quads
bench
stuck
press
out there.
me, that she's not allowed to have a
Yeah.
skirt. Yeah, like,
No, yeah.
why is she? It's like almost like you're being punished for being strong.
Yeah. Now listen, and I will
So,
say too
yeah,
that like
so,
'cause, I had a very thick dense muscular muscularity to
yes,
me.
yes, you
And
do.
so I absolutely true that when some things I put on that were for women didn't look right on me, and it looked like a cross dresser or something. You know what I mean? And so there is that, but that's even more why somebody who's in like a bodybuilding woman or a muscular woman needs to be the one that starts it, because there is like it's almost like there's a certain type of clothing that looks nice on us. But I can tell you right fucking now that I can still wear a dress and freaking rock it.
Oh, I'm acutely aware. Believe me. And that actually was one of the things that I thought was kind of funny. I didn't realize how bad it was. Well, the reason this question came about was because I learned how bad it was fairly recently, but it was kind of a funny method. So I told one of my friends that I had recently met, and I won't get into it, but I grew up with X-Men like most people or just minorities. If you were in the 90s, you knew who the X-Men were or you knew who Power Rangers were. There was
Yeah,
no in between.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and the X-Men, what made them famous was that they are an indirect projection of treating people or how people should be treated and fighting to get treated with respect and human dignity as minorities, mutants, human decency, et cetera, et cetera. What is it? Xavier himself and Magneto are based on Malcolm X and Martin Luther King of all people. So when someone told
Ah,
me that the one of the best writers ever was going to be in Chicago, I was going to try to meet him just by default. And it ended up being a very lovely conversation. But I told one of my friends, I met them on the phone. I was in a group chat. Oh, yeah, they're also having a drag king and queen story time. They're teaching stories about understanding and respecting human differences. And I'm sure some hate group might show up, but they probably going to get flexed because if there was ever a place a hate group is not going to last, it's going to be at a comic book convention. You just ain't going to last. Why are you
right.
here? So I get a call from Tiffany. He's like, "Where are you right now?" I was like, "What's wrong?" There are drag queens there, right? Yeah. You're telling me where they are right now? I was like, they're in the section labeled
Oh my
like
lord.
3G. What's the problem? They know how to get dresses in my size. It's like, and I started
Uh,
laughing immediately. And she's like, "Stop laughing. I'm being serious." It's like, okay, okay. You can borrow my badge, which I know I'm not supposed to let people do it, but what's the worst that can happen? Here's where they are, and you can ask them how you can get dresses in your size. It's like, thank you so much. And she gave me a big hug, which I keep telling her not to do because she doesn't know where that limit is before she starts killing me. And she had to go through drag queens just to find dresses and skirts in her size. And I'm just like, y'all shouldn't have to deal with that. And that's where that
yeah, and
question came from,
I've
actually.
done similar. I've gone to the trans or drag whatever the websites to get like certain things like boots. I don't remember what else, but I've done the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and
It's
you're
just
right. We
nice
shouldn't
how
have to.
technically, yeah, exactly. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to see y'all together. I'm glad you get along, but it was just, oh yeah, that is one of those thoughts you don't think of until you meet someone who has the problem. Now our
Yeah.
next little segment is
Ooh, thank you.
a little bit quick, but it's specifically
Okay.
from fans, and in one case, a
Uh-huh.
potential coworker who already is verified slash worked in the industry. I've met him a few times too. He's a
Okay.
pretty nice guy. First up is the Comfy God, a porn star out of Illinois, and
Okay.
bodybuilder, but not to the like point of professionalism. As a newcomer to the
Uh-huh.
industry, currently building up materials for an eventual massive OnlyFans dump without a contract or bigger company attached to me. Are there any people you recommend that I work with that deal with amateurs and things like that? Or should I put everything into my website? Or should I just put my money into my website and get promotion and eyes on it?
So, I would not, you don't need to put all of your money into the website. You need something that's going to get your website out there, right? So, um,
Gotcha.
you need to work with it. Like right now, things are kind of different too. If you're not working with a big agency, we're all hustling out there now. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to move your fucking ass. And it's a little easier if you can travel and and but so, I mean, if he's just starting out, you're going to have to deal with starting out with other people who are just starting out, because anyone who has a big following is going to be less likely to want to work with you, because you know, everybody wants to get themselves out in front of somebody. And if you don't have a big following, then you're not going to put them in front of a bunch of people. So you just got to start working. But if you have something that's like, because like, there's certain things that are not like it's common right now that in the industry. And so if but anyway, so you can try, right? But I would just start trying to work.
Mm-hmm.
Find First of all, find your niche. Anybody who tries to like do everything usually stays mediocre, because you're
They have
trying to
no
spread
skill.
yourself out too. Yeah. And so I would say pick even a general, just something general category, and then you go find people in that category. If he's not on Twitter, get on Twitter, because I don't know how they do it, but it's the wild west of porn on there. And all of the what do you call it? All of the creators and everybody's
Big
out there.
names.
Yes, there is a website called sexyjobs.com, and that was the first place that I got my first porn movie off of
Mm-hmm.
that one. I mean, of course, just like anything else, you have to keep an eye out for people that are scamming or, using you, but it is something to look into. And you just gotta keep moving. You gotta keep
Yeah.
moving, and don't be fucking dirty. Like something. Tell you what, like if you go and be vulgar to some chick and she works with you, she's probably not going to be a good performer anyway. So just be polite and professional. That's the biggest thing. Professional. What you're getting into is a business. You need to be professional. So that's what I would say. I don't know. I don't personally have any. I mean, like if you came to Vegas, I could always so me personally, if someone's asking me personally, I can, say, hey, you can go talk to this person or that person, but I don't have like any like big contacts to put anyone in front of. But that's what I did. I just started I worked every day. I went out there and I kept putting requests out there and answering messages, and you just got to stay on it. But I don't think putting money into your website is the better route to go immediately, only because what you need is an audience. You
Mm-hmm.
need to have a bigger audience of people that want your stuff, and you're going to get that from other people that you're working with. And then so when they post it, they tag you, and so then everybody says, oh, who's that? And they go and look, something like that. So you got to
Okay.
build that audience.
Well, I'll
Oh,
be sure to send
yeah.
him. Yeah, I'll be sure to send him this segment once I finish with everything. Cause yeah, I actually worked with him before, and I told him like, hey, listen, you actually have the personality potentially to like do well, because it's not that you see them all as a money bag and an object. It's more like you
Mhm.
don't let this job change your personality. I was like, I just told him, hey,
Yeah.
listen, I hope you go far. Very nice guy.
Yeah.
All right. So question two comes from Singleton
Yep.
Z. Should the opportunity ever occur to engage fans that are interested in being intimate, like they're not professionals in the industry, do you prefer that you have consent to sell and distribute, or if you have an interest in sexually engaging fans, do you prefer it be more natural setting instead, i.e., no cameras, just two people enjoying each other's company?
Okay. So, and here's how I'm going to answer that, because I want to make sure first and foremost that people understand that when I engage with people on a one-on-one type meeting basis, I am providing a fantasy that is not about
Mm-hmm.
what I want personally. That is not, it will never be what I want personally. And I hate to ruin anyone's fantasy, but it is a fantasy world, and I will make sure that we keep that, in mind. So, I do not require, like, if I were to meet with a fan one on one, I do not require it to be recorded unless they want it. But if they do record, they will give me. I will not let it be recorded unless they give me the releases and stuff I need. Um, and so then, but
That's
that isn't what
understandable.
I prefer. I would, yeah, I would prefer, if you're wanting, if I have a fan that wants to schedule time with me, I would prefer to just, get a hold of me. We will figure it out, and we'll talk about the details. And for that time, you will be the only person I know in the entire world.
Yeah. So now let's just say it's a fan who's like, they're not trying to quote unquote buy you. It's more like they're trying to date you. Is it the same rules as this, or is it something different for those guys or girls?
So, unfortunately, dating would be, as far as I'm concerned, dating would be another fantasy situation. I'm not dating anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, has nothing to do with individual. It's just not a place I want to be. So, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to discuss it. I'm going to be polite and explain that, and then that's going to be the end of the discussion, or I'm going to block them. So, if we want to
That's fine.
talk about, the fantasy of dating, that is a service that can be provided, but it is not. I know I don't date. I don't date. And I don't do casual chat. I don't want
Okay.
to. I'm not going to answer every morning how you're, how I'm doing. I'm not going to tell you every day, like what I'm doing today. I don't do that.
Yeah, that would be like too many people. That would be insane.
Exactly. And I don't. And
Okay.
I find it hard. I find it funny that they don't understand that. That people don't understand that. Like how many people a day kind of like come to us with some, I say us as in performers, come to us with that same question, but for whatever reason, and I really appreciate it. I always say that I appreciate people's, attention, but you're right, I don't have time. I just don't.
Okay. Well, like I said with these questions, I don't force anyone to answer anything they're not comfortable with.
Sure.
So yeah, I get it for the most part. And just to make sure I understand it, you know, you won't necessarily film anything, but if it does get filmed, you want to make sure that you are able to legally use it, because business is business. And if they just want intimacy time or one nighter, besides obviously respecting the shit out of you, they need to make sure that there's nothing else going on behind the scenes, et cetera, et cetera. Because I'm pretty sure you're the type, much like myself, who doesn't want to be used to cheat. So yeah, that's pretty normal to
Yeah.
me. I got no problem with that. It sounds nice, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean,
all
and to
right.
be clear, if I were to meet somebody and they wanted to record it for themselves, they're not going to get any. Like if they wanted to do what I let them do is if they just want some clip or something for themselves, go ahead. You go ahead and do it. I don't make them pay extra, and I don't require what do you call it? Any kind of paperwork if it's just like some sort of little clip for yourself. But yeah, so when I say no, I want release forms. That would be if for some reason we were gonna shoot like a full scene or something.
Get gotcha. Um, okay. Well, I don't really see any issues with that. In fact, that's one of the more, I guess, PG-13 answers I've come across. And well, I can't give you any personal horror stories, but I've just heard people making up exorbitant fees for the littlest amount of
Yeah,
work, and I'm explaining to
yeah,
them, no, 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 no. He's not trying to engage you in a bedroom. He's trying to interview
yeah,
you in person, and you're giving me a $13,000 BJ fee. I'm like, yo, that's not what he wants.
yeah.
It's a conversation. And she said something
Yeah,
crazy like that, and I
I
was
don't.
like, I thought she was joking at first. Like,
Yeah. No, to be honest, I
I'm
mean, like, and I
yeah,
don't,
and
of
I
course,
was
I'm not talking about anyone specifically, but I'm not talking about anyone specifically, but the behavior of some of the women out there is sad a little bit, very, very cold, very exaggerated, very over the top. But to be honest,
yeah,
I had, there's always several guys who like can't freaking leave shit alone, or they don't stop bugging you, or or there's always things that that I'm like, okay, I can understand why someone would want to be a bitch. You know what I mean? But it's just I personally always try to take the most respectful path. If I get to the point where I'm cussing at you, you did something really really bad, and you're about to get blocked. So, um, I try to take who knows what that person's thing is? Maybe who knows? Maybe they got autism and they're not understanding. I don't know. You know what I mean? So you never know, and I think that just being a little kinder just leads to less stress right from the start anyway. So that's how I do it.
Wholeheartedly agree. I mean, Exotica is in a bunch of different places, and I don't like. I say what I mean when I'm speaking, but I also had to come to the realization there is a certain type of performer that values. I won't say human decency, but they value feeling like they're talking to another person. And sometimes
Yeah.
when I'm saying, "Oh, hey, uh, there is a indoor skydiving place down the street. I'm not sure if we can get booked tonight or anything, but you want to go there and see it? And if not, I was going to go to the movie theater. And they're
Uh-huh.
hearing, oh, I'm trying to get some. I was like, no, no, I was legitimately being serious. And then somehow
Yeah.
they're mad that it wasn't a secret attempt at trying to get in pants. And I'm just like, oh, that's adorable. Don't you know I'm terrified of every single one of you who aren't bodybuilders? Like, if you're not a bodybuilder and you work in this industry, I am genuinely terrified of you. I appreciate that, but also I'm at that point in my life where I don't want to be known for ever giving a bad performance, not in the literal sense,
Yeah.
in the bedroom sense. So apparently I got viewed as being hard to quote unquote get. And I was like, no, I'm scared of you. I'm not joking. If you don't have these giant muscles, I am terrified of you. Shouldn't it be the other way around? I've been hearing that my whole life. I blame She Hulk.
Shouldn't it be the other way around? What?
Yeah, they
She's
think
saying that
that
she
I
should be
should be
intimidated by you?
terrified.
Is that what she's saying? Yeah.
Yeah, or that shouldn't they be intimidated? Like, shouldn't the ones who are shouldn't I be intimidated by the ones who are built like an hourglass, not the ones who are built like a Hulk?
Oh,
And I understand that, but to them I say, hey, look,
yeah. I can
it's not my
understand
fault
that.
She-Hulk exists. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not. People keep forgetting it, but a long time ago, She-Hulk did actually have a cartoon, and it was the
Yeah.
worst kind of most disgusting cartoon for a minor. However,
Um,
people don't
yeah.
know this because they think superhero. No, they're going to show
Right.
superhero stuff, beating up giant robots. Nope. They devoted
Yeah.
at least 2 minutes of every episode to reminding you She-Hulk is fucking hot and has giant muscles.
Yeah.
So I kind of didn't have a choice. I
Yeah.
was born in this life. I accept that about myself. So yeah,
Yeah.
any
And
ones I've met
hey,
and done anything. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, no. You go ahead.
And I'm just going to say, it's like you can't pick necessarily what you're going to end up liking, being attracted to, addicted to, falling in love with.
Right.
But I feel like I'm at a point in my life where if I know that this person, yes, they represent an idea that I have in my head, but if I know it's attached to a good soul or a good heart, or I think they're a decent human being, I kind of wouldn't care after a while if they say, you know what, I'm gonna, dye my hair hot pink and I'm gonna start looking like a toothpick. I'm done with bodybuilding. Okay. Do I still get to lay in
Yeah.
that bed next to you? If the answer is yes, then hey, I'm not about to stop you. I might have been coming for one thing, but I'm staying for the rest of you.
Yeah. Right. Well, and that's nice, and I think that that probably doesn't apply to everybody, you know what I mean? But I tend to like I try to understand, like, listen, I'm a realistic person, right? I understand what I look like. I
Yeah.
understand, well, actually, I did used to get like kind of like pissed when people would call me a guy or something, or like I accidentally. And then I was at a store, and I swear to God, it happened like 2 days in a row where I was at stores and it was a child, like say, I don't know, five or less that
Mm-hmm.
said something to their parent about, is that a boy or a girl? And that kid was not saying it to be rude. That's the honest shit
Yeah.
comes
Genuine
out of
curiosity.
kids' mouths at that age. And I was like, okay, okay, I do understand. But then there's that, then you can still tell the difference between someone who's like, okay, I just have to ask, are you a girl? And the other people that are just rude about it, right? So I don't mind. I don't mind that people have like those stereotypes. Every bodybuilding woman is running around ready to beat the shit out of every man they see and blah 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 whatever. As long as you don't like, there's still a polite way to treat people. Don't yell
Thank
at me
you.
from across the street to throw a biceps. Stop it. You know what I mean? It's like freaking a. Like everybody has to stop me in the grocery store. I'm like, I just want to get my food and go home. So there's still ways to be polite to people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever hit it. Like, I've met the more stable of your fan group, which, again, a lot of them are like just genuinely polite people. They just got quote
Yeah.
unquote tired of hiding what they're interested in, and they
Yes.
know that people like you are such a miraculous, essentially pig with wings flying, that they know they're not going to come across too many of you ever. And we have a respectful conversation 9 times out of 10. But then there's,
Uh-huh.
even if we're doing that, there's always somebody who has to come up
Yeah.
to us in the few times that we talk about you in public, and they'll be like, "Oh, you guys just want to get beat
Yeah.
up." It's like, no. Oh, okay. So she's trans? No, she's not. Oh,
Yeah.
well then what exactly are you getting out of this? I'm like, maybe, I don't know, she's a decent fucking human being. She's worldly, seen a couple things or two, or maybe some of us, or really it's just me, were here before she got into this industry. I'm just happy, she didn't like
Yeah.
die from some steroids or something in a alley or a gutter or something.
Yeah. No, the general population, and that's what I call them, is those people that are not into this lifestyle and just general people that don't exercise, they don't, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Very, it's very sad. In my opinion, it is super sad to see how they attack people, the things they say to people they don't even know. I've put things up and people have said the stupidest shit to me, and I'm like, I'm like, it's like you don't even know me. Like, what makes you feel so comfortable? And I understand, everybody says, oh, everybody's a warrior behind the keyboard, but I'm just
Exactly.
talking about the thoughts in their mind. I'm just talking about the thoughts in their mind, though. It's like how what the fuck is wrong with you that makes you even want to stay there and talk to somebody you don't even know like that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
There's something wrong with those people. It's definitely something wrong with them. That has no effect on me whatsoever because it's not my problem. That is 100% those people's problem.
yeah, and I've met people who I try to get them to. Well, I mean, I sound like I'm aggrandizing you, so that's exactly what I'm doing. I try to get people to look at you as an example who I know get hurt by the smallest little comments because, well, they haven't been around as long as you, they haven't been in this life as long as you. And like, listen, you got to
Yeah.
stop letting some of the most ignorant and dumbest shit from people get in your head when you got all these people around
Yeah.
you supporting you. Your mom, your dad, and your
Yeah.
little brother did nothing but support you, and you're trying to get into this life and you actually want to compete. You got a good job, and your boyfriend does not give a flying fuck. Do you realize that you are essentially the definition of a flying pig? But then one person who you don't know, one lady says something about, well, that
Yeah.
trans bitch will never be able to wear heels again. She'll probably break them. Ha 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 ha. And now you spiraling out for a week. You need to be more like
Yeah.
Brooke Diesel. It's like, who's that? You ain't heard of
Uh,
Brooke Diesel and you in this life? Then I go and just basically list off like sounding like a wiki page about you, and it's like, holy shit, that is insane. Yes. Now, do you think she got that? Would get that way or got what she got if she listened to every piece of shit like that? No. So then why you
yeah.
doing it? And
Yeah.
I, again, it
And
sounds like
and
some
people need
arrogant
to get
stuff,
to
but
where And people
no,
need to
go
get
ahead.
to where that doesn't where they don't even care. It's not even like don't let it bother you. It's just like you don't care. I tried something once and I had put up some curl video and people started like coming and I don't really even read that stuff anymore because I just don't have time. But I just noticed it kept popping up and I went back and reading it. This was from like 2 years ago. And I had curled up to like it was a safety curl bar, and I think I went up to 110 or 115 or something. And I only did that one a couple times because it was super sloppy. And the one before
Mm-hmm.
that though, it wasn't that bad, but it was a fucking 105 or 110. I'm like, stop it, I'm a girl. And just like okay, so anyway, the shit, the comments that post got that went viral. It went over 5 million, and I got paid like 600 fucking dollars from Instagram for that. But the some of the comments were just I mean, just like, first of all, some of them are just plain and simple unintelligent. They just like whatever you're saying right now. I don't think you understand the words, the meaning of the words you're using. And then second, people were talking to each other like, "This is my post. You don't think I'm getting these fucking notifications? You're saying this." They're like talking to each other. They're like saying, "Oh, she looks like blah blah." I'm like, dude, no. talk to me, okay? So they were even talking to me, you know? And then some people, a couple times, I had to say something. I did say something a couple times. Someone said
Mm-hmm.
I was wearing sweatpants, and someone said, "I bet you never squatted." And I just told them, "Well, I've squatted once or twice." It's not like I jump in. I don't like argue with these people because there's no reason to,
Yeah, they
and
don't. They
there was
just
no
want
reason to tell
attention.
that person. Yeah. Well, not even attention. They're negative people, and that's my point. Is that that's why I'm sad about it. I am sad that there are so many people that are just willing to go on and attack somebody they don't even know. They don't like look to see what else is on your account or anything. They just attack that one specific moment. And
Of
I don't understand
course.
why people have to be that way. And what's sad is that that's the general population.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, sometimes it's not even they think you're disgusting. They are legitimately insecure. I don't remember her name, and this will be before I close this video out. But one of the biggest growths without any type of like extra stuff in the history of female bodybuilding is this Russian lady. She didn't even think she would like it. She just happened to go to the gym with her husband or something one day, and she got nothing but support. She is the nicest lady, and she started just like getting awards in the country, and then people realizing, wait, she can go like international. She is literally built different. There's something in her genes that
Yeah.
just make her built. And literally from the moment she got online, from her first day of having independent, social media, it was literally nothing but hate comments from women, men, children,
Yeah.
nothing. So she disappears for a certain amount of time and comes back. She says, "Hi, thank you for the love and support. Y'all did nothing wrong, but I'm primarily off of here because almost 99.9% of the comments that I get are extremely insulting and negative for like no reason, etc. Blah 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 blah." And I was like, I understood immediately what she was going through, and I'm just like, man, I really do appreciate people who want to do or get into this stuff because y'all could do nothing wrong. Y'all could mind your business, or you could just want to do it because you like it. You're not making money or profit.
Oh,
And
sure.
here's somebody who just wakes up in the morning and decides, I need to make someone suffer to feel better. Will just come in
Yeah.
and treat y'all like you're fucking Andrew Tate or somebody. So
Right. But
I,
that's why
I
I keep
believe,
posting. I keep posting like that because I want women to see that. I'll show them. I'll show you the comments and be like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck because I'm doing what I like to do and there's nothing wrong with it. And that's what other women and
absolutely.
I should no person in anywhere should have to stop posting because 99.9% of the people are giving them negative comments. So don't fucking read them. You know what I mean? You put that stuff out there because I'll tell you what, there are people that are following you and they are looking up to what you're doing and they want to have something to follow. And so, I mean, who cares what those negative people are saying? I just don't care.
And I would love to live in a world where we had more people like you, especially if they was local. Well, with that being said, Mrs. Diesel, I definitely appreciate you coming and talk to me. I've interviewed a lot of people, and I still need to upload a lot of interviews. But I will honestly say it's always nice to hear from the people that I look up to with and without their clothes on. And I honestly hope if even one woman, one man hears your words and understands how little of a fuck they need to give to disgusting people,
Okay.
I feel like my job is done with posting it. And I thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you. And if any of your people want to follow, they can go
Mm-hmm.
to boss.bitch.x on Instagram. And
Yes.
you know what? I have a link that I can send you that if you wanted to post it. But and
Oh,
of
I
course I
will.
have my own website from the adult industry, which is thebrookediesel.com. So
No,
with
we'll
that,
post them
I'll
both up.
send you this.
Yeah. And again, I appreciate
And
you
I really
coming. And
appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate you
oh,
taking this time to like talk to me, like not just me in general, but all of us. And it's always something different, right? Like not even this subject in general, but it's very good of you to like want to have a conversation and get people's story out. I think that's cool.
yeah. I almost got a molecular biologist once upon a time. It sounds like the most boring thing ever, but
Oh,
you got to remember this is a person who is literally learning the building blocks of reality and how to manipulate them. That is
okay.
insane. But
Oh yeah,
unfortunately,
that is.
his mother had an incident, so I was able to push you forward. And don't get me wrong, I give him the same respect and attention I would give you. Yes, I do have a
Oh yeah.
long history of being your fan, even before you got into this industry. But because of my
Thank
insight, I feel like I can provide better questions.
God. Yeah, that's very accurate. Yes.
I look forward to seeing what the next 10 years of being your fan is like, and I genuinely hope I get to
Um,
see you in person one day.
that's so super sweet. Thank you so much.